Thanks, Allison. That's a very tough act to follow. I should have prepared better remarks. Charlotte, you were incredible. That was so amazing to hear. What an inspiring day. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I am floored by the quality of the speakers, the authenticity of the speakers, the great work that the staff has done. Um, I'm Mohit Jolly. I'm the board chair for StartOut. I've been involved with the organization since 2017. Um, I work at Google, that's my day job. We first got involved as sponsors of StartOut. I remember talking to Andres Weidler, who was the executive director of StartOut at the time, and they had a hunch that outcomes for LGBTQ and queer entrepreneurs were not as equitable as their cis straight counterparts. So they came to us. We agreed to sponsor what is now the Pride Index. And then they did the research. I'm looking at quite a few familiar faces in the audience who remember that time. And then we got all the data points, right? We showed the data. Brian showed the data earlier today. Only 0.5% of all funding goes to LGBTQ entrepreneurs. Are we 0.5% of the population? No. Clearly not. We got this data. This was, I think, 2018. I'm looking at Cyan, 2019, who was involved with the organization, still is. And then we were like, great, this is going to change everything. We have the facts on our side, and now everything will change. And did things change? No, they didn't. And we realized we still have a lot of work to do. And then that's what convinced me to join the board of the organization, because even as a sponsor, after finding all the facts and the data, and we're data nerds at Google, we were convinced this will change everything. It didn't change anything. We are making progress, right? We are overall as a society for LGBTQ people, we are getting better. But for the entrepreneurial ecosystem, the numbers are still the same. We still do the research over and over again. They're moving in the right direction, but not that step change that we'd expected. So I took over as the board chair last year, and as a part of, and Brian also became the CEO. So we both are on this journey together. So we were meeting a lot of people in the ecosystem, more so than I was doing previously as just a board member. And I remember this conversation with a VC in Battery Club up there in San Francisco. And I was talking about StartOut, giving my pitch, well-rehearsed pitch. Only 0.5% of all funding goes to LGBTQ entrepreneurs, and that's why they need to be involved. And his first question to me was, what's your deal flow? What's the deal flow I will get if I fund your organization? Now, granted, you heard from Brian, our deal flow, and from all these amazing entrepreneurs today, our deal flow is much better. We do create more value, but that's not the question they should be asking. This is not about deal flow. Yes, our deal flow is great, but this is about equity, about changing an ecosystem. And that conversation with that VC was emblematic of what's wrong with the ecosystem. I also had another conversation with a founder, a successful founder who had exited already. But there was one difference between his first and his second company. His first company, he had a cis straight co-founder with him, a cis straight male co-founder. And it was easy for them to raise money, and they had a very successful exit. His second company, it was two queer founders doing it at the same time. He got locked out of those same networks that he had access to before. That's what reminded me again, the work that we do is so important. Bringing this community together, the LGBTQ community, our allies together, this work still matters. I'll share one last personal anecdote. It's Pride Month. I'm the exec sponsor of the LGBTQ group at Google. So every year for Pride, we write a blog post on the official Google blog post. I authored it this year. I was very proud of all the great work that we'd done at Google for Pride. And then my PR team said, hey, can you post this on social? And then Google will repost it. We want to make sure that all of this word gets out. And I was like, of course, I'll do it. And I did it on a Thursday evening, went out for dinner, woke up Friday morning, and I think that was also the morning we had our exec meeting. So Brian and a few of the staff members were in that meeting as well. I woke up to my phone had blown up and a bunch of comments, things like animal, waste of time. And I was like, there's something clearly wrong here. And I open my social and there is hate comments all over from all over the world. And on all social networks. And it was a jarring moment which made me realize that even in 2024, the work that we do for the LGBTQ community still matters a lot. The work that StartOut does and a lot of other nonprofits do also matters. The work that all of you as entrepreneurs, as funders do, as corporate funders do, also matters. Remember the words that Charlotte just said, the universe moves forward with the work that entrepreneurs do. And I'm imagining a world, a universe that moves forward with the work that queer founders do, successful queer founders do. And that's why this work matters so much. So big thanks to Brian, to the staff, to LinkedIn, to our sponsors, JP Morgan, UBS. I'll forget if I try to name all of them, but there's a long list. Thanks to all of them. I do realize I'm the last thing standing between you and drinks. So I have two things to share with you. Number one, the Equity Summit reception is now. It's at the Southside Spirit House. It's presented by JP Morgan. So thank you, JP Morgan. It's a 2-minute walk in that direction. So it's not in this location. It is on, what's the address? It's on Howard Street. Okay. There'll be volunteers all along. So find them, spend time with each other, build more community. And then I think there's also supposed to be a QR code somewhere. Yes, right here. Thank you. For in-person attendees and virtual attendees, please scan the QR code, give us feedback. This helps us. This helps us make the programming better. It also helps us go back to our sponsors and raise more money and show that this work still matters. So thank you very much. Thanks to Brian, thanks to the staff and to all the volunteers who made the event today possible, and look forward to seeing many of you at drinks later.